It's the penultimate stage of the Vuelta Andalucía. Stage 4, just 127 kilometres, starting in Villanueva and finishing down in Granada. Along the way, 3 categorised climbs, the main one being the last of those, the first category Alto Del Purche. 8.8 kilometres at 7.8%, although the average gradient is a little deceptive, as it includes a small descent before the final steep road to the peak. That peak came at just under 20 kilometres to go, leaving a long and fast descent down into Granada. Once again, it was a fast and furious start to the stage. We joined the action inside the last 50 kilometres, barring McLaren flat out in the peloton, giving chase to a large front group that contained the likes of Hofstetter, Oliveira, Goossens, Shaw, Osorio and Madrazo. Now you may remember Madrazo won that spectacular stage at the Vuelta a España last year for BH Burgos, and it was he who'd attacked coming into the decisive climb today. He was soon joined though by Janssens of Alpecin Fenix, but with just 17 seconds advantage over the main peloton, it was only a matter of time before they were caught. In fact, that happened a few moments later, but behind, barring McLaren was still controlling the pace. They were clearly trying to set up a big attack from their climber and second on GC Mikel Landa. This is Matej Mohoric doing his final turn on the climb, leaving just one domestique in front of the Basque rider. Sometimes though, attack is the best form of defence, and that was certainly the tactic that race leader Jakob Fuglsang was employing here. His acceleration soon whittled the group down significantly, and at a point, nobody else was able to stay with him. Dylan Teuns here, who came so close to that stage win yesterday, was one of the first big names to get distanced, whilst up front, Fuglsang was getting a little bit frustrated with the lack of cooperation from the others. And so, he would accelerate again, this time dropping Marc Soler of Movistar, but also teammate Jon Izagirre. It meant there were only 4 riders left at the front of the race: Fuglsang himself, Mikel Landa, Jack Haig and Brandon McNulty. The young American once again showing that he's one of the hottest prospects that country has seen for some time in stage races. And he wasn't just content in following either. Up towards the top of the climb and he was on the attack. However, once caught, he would pay for that effort, slipping off the back of the group when Haig made his move. The Australian started the day at just 35 seconds to Fuglsang, and the Dane couldn't let him go far, but was clearly not finding it easy to bring him back. Over the top, it was Landa who'd sprint up to the back wheel of Haig though, Fuglsang not far behind, and so, for the long descent into Granada, we had 3 riders up front. Haig was eager to press on. With enough time today, he'd almost guarantee himself a spot on the final podium tomorrow. Fuglsang too seemed determined to eliminate the threat of Teuns, but for Landa there wasn't much to gain, and so he sat on. Coming into the slightly flatter section with 6k's remaining, their gap over McNulty and Izagirre was 37 seconds. Haig though did not want to leave it for the sprint. He put in an attack with 1400 metres to go, but Fuglsang was still looking sprightly, and soon after Haig was caught by the Dane, he went on the attack himself. Landa though, who'd done the least of the 3, was the man who went with 200 metres to go. Fuglsang had enough power still left in the tank to get onto the back wheel of the ride from Bahrain McLaren. Jack Haig though wasn't out of it yet. In fact, far from it. The Australian had enough left in his tank to come around everybody before the finish line. Behind, Brandon McNulty just about managed to outsprint Izagirre to take 4th, whilst behind them it was Dylan Teuns who led the rest in. Well, that marks the second pro win for Jack Haig, who spends most of his time working for the Yates twins. But you'd imagine there are plenty more to come. The Australian has made a steady progression over the last few seasons and has proven he can now mix it up with the best climbers out there. There's your results: Soler, Quadros, Morata, Van Hoek and Bilbao rounding out the top 10 on the stage. Jakob Fuglsang looks good now in the general classification, doesn't he? His advantage over Mikel Landa is 14 seconds. Jack Haig has moved himself up to 3rd place at 35. Everybody else is at over a minute. Tomorrow it's the time trial, a rolling 13k stage with a dirt road included. This stage last year was won by Tim Wellens, but Fuglsang was second. He's favourite to keep the jersey tomorrow, but make sure you join us again here on GCN Racing to see if he manages it.